So Toronto has been pushing laneway suites and garden suites as the answer to our housing crisis. And yeah, from an investment standpoint, we also think they should make sense. They have amazing rental income potential and also value add boost. But a new article just dropped from the Toronto Star and is warning us that they might not be the golden investment that everyone thinks. One homeowner sank close to $550,000 into his laneway suite only to struggle for months to sell. And after all that, he barely made any money and went through a ton of stress. So, does this mean laneway suites and garden suites aren't worth it? Let's dig in, but before we dive deeper, do us a favor, hit that like button, subscribe for more real estate investing tips, and if you are serious about getting into the Toronto multiplex market, just book a call with us. First off, the article isn't wrong. Homes with laneway suites do tend to sit on the market for longer. Why? Well, they are more expensive, and naturally, that means a smaller buyer pool. Not everyone can afford a pricier home, and not everyone wants to be a landlord. And some people actually need their garage, which a laneway suite might end up replacing. Plus, you can't sell a laneway suite separately. It is tied to the main house, which does make it harder to market. So, if you are expecting a quick flip and sale, you should definitely know your risks. But are there other reasons why this specific house ended up sitting on the market for longer and didn't make money? Let's look at it a little bit more closely. There were two major issues at play. First, he built the laneway suite back in 2019, an early adopter obviously, before Toronto started waiving development charges. Instead, he got a DC deferral of $90,000, and it did put a restriction on his property title. Buyers don't love it, and it seems like the eventual buyer required him to pay off that full $90,000, even though it would have been forgiven after 20 years. Second, the location. This house was right on top of a subway station in East York. Imagine hearing and feeling the subway rumble every single day. That alone makes any house, laneway suite or not, harder to sell. Now let's talk numbers. This house was in the east end of Toronto, where homes without laneway suites go for around $1 million. He did end up selling for $1.6 million, meaning the laneway suite is worth around $600,000. He spent $450,000 to build it, but ended up also paying an extra $90,000 in development charges. So after all was said and done, he only walked away with $60,000 and probably less after paying for the interest on the loan he used to build the laneway suite. But here's the thing, this isn't the typical outcome. If you build a laneway suite today, DCs are waived, and so you are not dealing with that extra $90,000. And if you manage your build costs properly, you can still make a solid return. We're building these personally at around $300,000 to $400,000 for a 1,000 square foot home, so you'd likely get around $200,000 plus in lift, but of course, it does depend on how much you put into renovations. Let's also look at rental income. Right now, we're renting out these laneway suites for around $3,000 to $3,500 per month. Let's be conservative. Let's say we get $3,000 a month in rents. Gas and hydro are separately metered, so the tenant pays for that separately, but you will get an increase in property taxes, and you do have to pay for extra on water and waste as well. So your net rent might be around $2,700 per month. If your build cost is an average of $350,000, that ends up hitting a 9% cap rate, which is way better than Toronto multiplexes, which is sitting at around 5%. And what if you finance the build? Well, let's say you get a $350,000 loan at 4% today. Your mortgage payment would be around $1,700 per month, so that ends up leaving you with $1,000 in positive cash flow every single month on the laneway suite. Compare that to a $700,000 two-bedroom condo that rents for more or less the same. You end up paying half the price for the same rent. And keep in mind, new laneway suites shouldn't be rent controlled in Toronto since they are built after November 2018. So, should you build a laneway suite? Well, if you are thinking about flipping, probably not. In today's volatile market downturns can eat away at your gains, and a longer selling timeline means more risk. But if you do plan to buy, hold, and rent out, a Laneway suite can still make a ton of sense. You get strong rental income, and if you are smart about building costs, then you will still get that value add lift and come out ahead. Just know what you're getting into because it is definitely not the magic solution. It's a long-term play. And of course, it doesn't hurt to buy an investment property that gives you the option to build that Laneway suite or garden suite sometime down the road if they're more or less the same price as a house that doesn't have that ADU potential. So if you do want to learn more about investing in houses with Laneway suite or garden suite potential, let's chat. We specialize in helping investors make confident, informed choices when it comes to multiplexes in Toronto. We focus on real data, not guesswork, so you can be sure you're making the right move. Whether you're looking for a fully renovated, turnkey multiplex or one that can be converted into multiple units, we'll guide you through every step of the process. Here's what it's like to work with us. We'll take the time to understand your goals, crunch the numbers to find the best investment options for you, and eventually land you the right property. If you want to dive into renovations, we can connect you to trusted contractors and guide you through the process. And once the work is done, we can even handle leasing and property management too. Ready to get started? Just head over to this link here and let's chat.